Hello and a very warm welcome. Thank you, Pranavi, for joining in. In the last few sessions, we are on chapter 4, wherein we are going to read about obstacles to connecting to intention. Before this, we have understood what intention is and, viewing intention from a new perspective. Then we read about the 7 phases of intention, and then we read about how to connect to with the intention. Now, while connecting to the intention, we will face some obstacles about which the author is going to talk in this chapter. Let me very quickly start sharing the screen so that we can read together. Pranavi, do you want to read?
Yeah, I'm just trying to see my Kindle, but that's fine. Wait a second. Yeah. Chapter 4, Obstacles to Connecting to Intention. Does a firm persuasion that a thing is so make it so? He replied. All poets believe that it does. And in age of imagination, the firm persuasion removed mountains, but many are not capable of a firm persuasion of anything. From The Marriage of Heaven and Hell by William Blake. William Blake's passage from The Marriage of Heaven and Hell is the basis of this chapter about overcoming obstacles to the unlimited power of intention. Blake is telling us that poets have an inexhaustible imagination and consequently an unlimited ability to make something so. He also reminds us that many are not capable of such a firm persuasion. In the previous chapter, I gave suggestions from making positive connections to intention. I deliberately arranged the chapters this way so that you would read about what you are capable of before examining barriers you have erected that keep you from the bliss of your intention. In the past, as a practicing counselor and therapist, I have encouraged the clients to first just a second. Yeah. To first consider that they want to manifest in their lives and hold that thought firmly in their imagination. Only after this was solidified would I have them examine and consider the obstacles. Often, my clients were unaware of the obstructions even when they were self imposed. Learning to identify ways in which you are creating your own obstacles is tremendously enlightening if you are willing to explore this area of your life. You may discover the obstacles that keep you from a firm persuasion of anything. I am devoting this chapter to 3 areas that may be unrecognized obstacles to your connection to the power of intention. You will be examining your inner speech, your level of energy, and your self importance. These 3 categories can create almost insurmountable blocks to connecting to intention when they are mismatched. Taken one at a time, you will have the opportunity to become aware of these blockages and explore ways of overcoming them. There is a game show that has aired on television for several decades now. It's called the match game. The object of this game is to match up your thoughts and potential responses with that of someone on your team, usually a partner or a family member. A question or statement is given to one partner, and several possible responses are offered. The more matches made in competition with 2 other couples, the more points received. The winner is the one with the most matches. I would play the match game with you. In my version, I'm asking you to match up with the universal spirit of intention. As we go through the categories of obstacles that hinder your connection to the intention, I will describe the areas that don't match and offer suggestions for creating a match. Remember that your ability to activate the power of intention in your life depends on your matching up with the creative source of all life. Match up with that source, and you win the prize of being like the source and the power of intention. Fail to match up, and the power of intention eludes you.
Wow.
So,
Thanks.
yeah.
It is normally said that intention, as we already know, is a universal power, and um, whatever it does is always in our favor. But our limited understanding of the world and things make us think that this is not in my favor, this is in my favor, this is, so we crib and cry a lot. But here I assume the author wants us to match up to the frequency of the universal power, which does anything and everything, which places everything in our life because of some particular reason.
Yes.
Let's understand what holds further.
Your inner speech, match or no match. We can go all the way back to the Old Testament to find a reminder about our inner dialogue. For instance, as a man thinketh, so is he. Generally, yeah, where it
We
is.
apply this idea
Yeah,
becoming.
we apply this idea becoming what we think to our positive thoughts. That is, think positively and you'll produce positive results. But thinking also creates stumbling blocks that produce negative results. Below are four ways of thinking that can prevent you from reaching for and connecting to universal creative spirit of intention. Thinking about what's missing in your life. To match up with intention, you first have to catch yourself in that moment you're thinking about what's missing. Then shift to intention. Not what I find missing in my life, but to what I absolutely intend to manifest and attract into my life with no doubts, no waffling, and no explaining. Here are some suggestions to help you break the habit of focusing your thoughts on what's missing. Play a version of the match game and match up with all the creative force. No match. I don't have enough money. Match. I intend to attract unlimited abundance into my life. No match. My partner is grouchy and boring. Match. I intend to focus my thoughts on what I love about my partner. No match. I'm not as attractive as I would like to be. Match. Wait a second. Yeah. Match. Wait a second.
I am perfect
I'm the perfect. Yeah. I'm perfect in the eyes of God. A divine manifestation of the process of creation. No match. I don't have enough vitality and energy. Match. I'm part of the ebb and flow of the limitless source of life. This is not a game of empty affirmations. It's a way of matching yourself to the power of intention and recognizing that what you think about expands. If you spend your time thinking about what's missing, then that's what expands in your life. Monitor your inner dialogue and match your thoughts what you want and intend to create.
Isn't this beautiful? We have been talking about it as well quite a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah.
That whatever we focus on eventually will expand. Because
Yes.
knowingly or unknowingly, whatever we are thinking is the things that we are attracting in our lives. And now it is a choice that we make every single day with every thought, whether we are thinking good thoughts or bad thoughts. And if we think good or bad to kuch nahi hai, but negative or positive, and if you're thinking negative thoughts, then that shall happen. So it is said, भगवान जी कहते हैं कि what you think, तथास्तु. जो आप बोलो, तथास्तु. You'll get.
Yes. And he's like giving you, so I mean, he's training you to match and I mean, how to match.
Yes.
It's like if we match with those with those kind of no match words, because unconsciously we at times repeat when we're in the down frequency, we would definitely repeat that I don't have enough vitality and energy, and you keep on repeating it. So instead you have to immediately get awakened and immediately reframe that to what he is asking you to match. So that's the real game, I guess, Karishma, because whatever you repeat, it happens. So consciously, we need to, whenever you get the thought of no match thought, we need to immediately reframe it and throw it back to the universe that I'm ready to match with this particular words.
Yes. The moment a negative thought comes, cut. And then
Yes,
cancel. And then no, this is not what I want. No, I want this.
yes.
So
So it's
that's
like
how we
it's
start.
really like a game. But
Yes.
then, even in meditation, also, no, Karishma, like when we go out of our, the focus or whatever, again, patiently, we have to come back and then focus on the source. So this is also same, just like a game. But then, if your intention is so strong, then you should be aware and keep on rematch it again. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, you
Absolutely.
can continue, Karishma, from the second point.
Second part says, think about the circumstances of your life. If you don't like some of the circumstances of your life, by all means, don't think about them. This may sound like a paradox to you. In this match game, you want to match up with the spirit of creation. You must train your imagination, which is the universal mind running through you, to shift from what you don't want to what you do want. All of that mental energy you spend complaining about what is, to anyone who will listen, is a magnet for attracting more of what is in your life. You and only you can overcome this impediment because you have put it on your path of intention. Simply change your inner speech to what you intend the new circumstances of your life to be. Practice thinking from the end by playing the match game and by realigning yourself with the field of intention. Here are some examples of a no match versus a match for the inner dialogue relating to the circumstances of your life. Hmm? No match. I hate this place we are living in. It gives me the creeps. Match. I can see our new home in my mind and I intend to be living in it within 6 months. No match. When I see myself in the mirror, I despite the fact I despise the fact that I am nearsighted and out of shape. Match. I am placing this drawing to how I intend to look right here on my mirror. No match. I dislike the work I am doing and the fact that I am not appreciated. Match. I will act upon my inner intuitive impulse to create the work or job of my dreams. No match. I hate the fact that I am sick so often and always seem to be getting colds. Match. I am divine health. I intend to act in healthy ways and attract the power to strengthen my immune system in every way I can. You must learn to assume responsibility for the circumstances of your life without any accompanying guilt. The circumstances of your life aren't the way they are because of karmic debts or because you are being punished. The circumstances of your life, including your health, are yours. Somehow they showed up in your life, so just assume that you participated in all of it. Your inner speech is uniquely your own creation and it's responsible for attracting more of the circumstances you don't want in life. Link up with intention. Use your inner speech to stay focused on what you intend to create, and you will find yourself regaining the power of your source. Um, when I read this is what comes to my mind. There are times in life when we very easily and effortlessly actually say such things, right? And there are times we would not be even able to catch ourselves on that. But
Yes.
yes, the moment we do catch ourselves, we should make an effort to switch it to the different direction.
Yes.
It is
For
not
me,
easy, but I think it is doable.
it is doable, Karishma. For me today, though, I mean, my upper body is like quite fine, but the lower body, a little of thigh fat needs to be decreased. But the moment the trainer says me to work on that area, that creates me, such a pain for me. And it's like I can't say no to him, because if I say no to him, he has a certain plan or a rhythm in his way of preparing the program or whatever. So I don't want to disturb that, but at the same time it will be so sick for me to do few exercises which are related to my the work on the inner thigh or the lower part of the body. So today I was like, I mean, the whole in the whole gym I used all the songs whichever I liked, but in the last moment when he has asked me to go for the cardio, I have just switched on to the affirmations which are related to the the physical body and the the beautiful and the attractive or whatever which are related to that. So I started listening to those affirmations and I just closed my eyes and I have finished off that routine. And now
Wow.
I'm very much happy within my heart that yes, because that was the core part. I have to work on it, but the moment the trainer says to work on that particular area, it will be so painful for me, Karishma. But then using these affirmations, I mean, listening into my ears was really good. And yes, seriously, I was in rhythm with the source, and I got some kind of the magical power also to complete those many sets also. So
Wow.
it works actually, but then intentionally you need to know how to affirm it.
Yes.
It's like that, yeah.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you for sharing that, Pranavi.
Yeah,
Because but
Karishma.
the life examples, it is so much easier for us to resonate with it, right?
Yes.
Mhm.
And while after coming back from gym, before doing meditation, I guess in an Instagram reel, a lady was telling that to generate your willpower, there is some kind of module in your brain called as decision making system. And in order to make that willpower stronger and stronger, you
Mhm.
have to do the things which you don't like. The moment you do that, you are activating that particular muscle. So once you activate that muscle, your
Mhm.
willpower is also increased and you're activating the willpower muscle as well. So that's something true. Whichever you don't like, you need to give a try again. So that's the way to work on, no, Karishma. Like just like my inner thigh workout, which I seriously don't like. So yeah, it's like that. So in that way, you can increase your willpower.
It is said that the more you try out new things, the more you challenge yourself to do something new
Yes,
or
yes,
something more difficult,
true.
you are building a muscle towards your own growth, and it is actually very good for your this brain health as well.
Yes.
All right, point number three says thinking about what has always been. When your inner speech focuses on the way things have always been, you act upon your thoughts of what has always been, and the universe, all creating force, continues to deliver what has always been. Why? Because your imagination is a part of that which imagined you into existence. It's the force of creation, and you are using it to work against you with your inner speech. Imagine the absolute spirit thinking like this: I can't create life anymore because things haven't worked for me in the past. There have been so many mistakes in the past, and I can't stop thinking about them. How much creating do you think would occur if spirit imagined in this way? How can you possibly connect to the power of intention if you thought which are responsible for your intending focus on all that's gone before, which you abhor? The answer is obvious, and so is the solution. Make a shift And catch yourself when you're focusing on what's always has been and move your inner speech to what you intend to manifest. You will get points in this match game by being on the same team as the absolute spirit. No matches. I have always been poor. I have raised on shortages and scarcity. Match. I intend to attract wealth and prosperity in unlimited abundance. No match. You have always fought in this relationship. Match. I will work at being peaceful and not allowing anyone to bring me down. No match. My children have never shown me any respect. Match. I intend to teach my children to respect all of life and I'll treat them in the same way. No match. I can't help feeling this way. It's my nature. I have always been this way. Match. I'm a divine creature. I am a divine creation capable of thinking like a creator. I intend to substitute love and kindness for feelings of inadequacy. It's my choice. Beautiful. The match items reflect a rapport with the originating spirit. The no matching statements represent interference that you are constructed to keep you from matching up with intention. Any thought that takes you backward is an impediment to manifesting desires. The highest functioning people understand that if you don't have a story, you don't have to live up to it. Get rid of any parts of your story that keep you focused on what has always been. That's good, right? We need to shift the inner chatter. We need to shift the stories that we keep on telling ourselves. And that is how actually the world is working. I still remember the days when I used to ribbon ka every month after month. हाय मैं तो शादी कर ली मुझसे गलती हो गई मैंने कुछ किया नहीं जिंदगी में अरे बाप रे and the day I started change the story oh wow I got married early and now I'm so lucky that my kids are grown up and they're busy in their own things and now I can do whatever I wish to do and that day and today I've started working and I'm on this journey. So I absolutely resonate with it and I agree with the fact that yes, we have to change the story that we are writing in our head all time. All the time.
Yes, Karishma. That too, you need to do it in a very patient and a very kind way. So, I mean, it's like really, it's like actually a game, but then we need to get used to that game. You know what? Somewhere in the morning, I read few lines telling that, see, there is a difference between the people who read books and who don't read books.
Hmm.
We are an extra mile than them because we are knowing that what's happening inside us and how to correct it.
Yes.
And these authors with their lovely energies, they would put us into an environment where you can awaken yourself and get into that field. And if you just stop over there, no Karishma, it's like no use. You need to execute it.
Exactly.
Otherwise, it's better that we don't read books and it's better to be with the
So
normal people.
it is said that अगर आपको पता है आप गलती कर रहे हो और फिर भी आप गलती कर रहे हो that is very bad. That is
Yes.
added karma.
Yes. Actually, today morning, I thought of getting up at 4 in the morning and I was totally awakened. It's not that I'm like drowsy or lethargic or something like that. I was with total energy, but then still I didn't get up from my bed. Instead, I got up at 5 instead of getting up at 4. I felt guilty that I lost the divine hour. Then I thought, what is the use when, I mean, because you're reading the books, you're knowing the importance of the soul journey and all that. That's the reason why the soul has woken me up, but I did not prepare myself to sit in meditation. That was so, I felt so bad for myself, Karishma. But then I thought I should be a warrior of all these things. It's a game. I lost it today, but then from tomorrow I would be a warrior, no doubt about it. So
I think there are times when the defeat is also important, because that is something that is going to give us another fire to not, lose yet again.
yes, yes,
So there are times when you are unable to achieve what you are trying to achieve, and you have to, then you sit back, you reflect, and then next day you stand up again saying, okay, now I'll give more power to it. I'll go with more dedication. I'll go in with more, 100% skin in it. और otherwise अगर आपको पता है कि there is no failure, आप उठने वाले हो, आप बैठने वाले हो अपने पाठ में, अपनी meditation में, तो you will be like, that will become a ritual, that will become a normal routine for you. But the days when you fail, there is something that keeps on happening in your heart,
yes,
and you are like, hey Ram, tomorrow morning I have to get up. You will keep reminding yourself, I don't know how
yes,
many times. And that wait, I don't know the word for it, but that longing is actually working in your favor as well. Because when you sit
yes,
tomorrow in meditation, you will have so much better concentration. I can guarantee that.
yes, Karishma, you're right. Exactly. Well said.
Point number 4 says thinking about what they want for you. There is probably a long list of people, most of them relatives, who have strong ideas about what you should be doing, how you should be thinking and worshipping, where you should be living, how you should be scheduling your life, and how much of your time you should be spending with them, especially on special occasions and holidays. Our definition of friendship thankfully excludes the manipulation and guilt that we so often put up with in our families. Inner dialogue that commiserates about the manipulative expectations of others ensures that this kind of conduct continues to flow into your life. If your thoughts are on what others expect of you, even though you despise their expectations, you will continue to act on and attract more of what they want and expect for you. Wow. Removing the obstacle means that you decide to shift your inner speech to what you intend to create and attract into your life. You must do this with unwavering intent and the commitment to not giving mental energy to what others feel about how you live your life. This can be taught assignment. This can be a tough assignment at first, but you will welcome the shift when you do it. Practice catching yourself when you have the thought of what others want for you, and ask yourself, does this expectation match up with my own? If not, simply laugh at the absurdity, absurdity of being upset or frustrated over the expectations of others about how you should be running your life. This is a way to match up and becoming impervious to the criticisms of others, and simultaneously put a stop to the insidious practice of continuing to attract into your life something you don't want. But the big payoff is that these critics realize that their judgments and critiques are pointless. So they simply desist. The 3-for-1 bonus achieved by shifting your attention away from from what others want and expect for you to how you want to live your life. Here are few examples of how to win at the match game. No match? I'm so annoyed with my family. They just don't understand me and they never have. Match. I love my family. They don't see things my way, but I don't expect them to. I'm totally focused on my own intentions and I send them love. This is beautiful, isn't it? No match. I make myself sick trying to please everyone else. Match. I am on a purpose and doing what I signed up to do in my lifetime. No match. I feel so unappreciated by those I serve that it sometimes makes me cry. Match. I do what I do because it's my purpose and my destiny to do so. No match. No matter what I do or say, it seems as if I can't win. Match. I do what my heart tells me to do with love, kindness, and beauty.
Yeah, I would read it from here, Karishma.
All right.
Hmm. Yeah, your level of energy, match or no match. A scientist will tell you that energy is measured by speed and size of the wave being created. The size of the wave is measured from low to high and slow to fast. Anything else that we attribute to the conditions we see in our world is a judgment imposed upon those pulsating frequencies. That being said, I would like to introduce a judgment of my own here. Higher energy is better than lower energy. Why? Because this is a book written by a man who stands for healing, love, kindness, health, abundance, beauty, compassion, and similar expressions. And these expressions are associated with higher and faster energies. The impact of higher and faster frequencies on lower and slower frequencies can be measured. And it's in this regard that you can make a huge impact on eradicating the energy factors in your life that are obstructing your connection to intention. The purpose of moving up the frequency ladder is to change your vibratory level of energy so that you are at the higher and faster frequencies where your energy level matches up with the highest frequencies of all. The energy of the all creating spirit of intention itself. It was Albert Einstein who observed nothing happens until something moves. Everything in this universe is a movement of energy. Higher or faster energy dissolves and converts lower or slower energy. With this in mind, I would like you to consider yourself and all of your thoughts in the context of being an energy system. That's right. You are an energy system, not just a system of bones, fluids, and cells, but actually a multitude of energy systems encapsulating an inner energy system of thoughts, feelings, and emotions. This energy system that you are can be measured and calibrated. Every thought you have can be energetically calibrated along with its impact on your body and your environment. The higher your energy, the more capable you're of nullifying and converting lower energies, which weaken you and impacting in a positive way everyone in your immediate and even distant surroundings. The objective in this section is to become aware of your own energy level and the actual frequencies of thought that you are regularly employ in daily life. You can become proficient at raising your energy level and permanently obliterate energy expressions that weaken or inhibit your connection to intention. Ultimately, your goal is to have a perfect match with the highest frequency of all. Here is a simple explanation of the five levels of energy that you work with, moving from the lowest and slow frequencies to the highest and fastest. The material world. Solid form is energy slowed down so that it's approximately commensurate with your sense perception of the world of boundaries. Everything that you see and touch is energy slowed down so that it appears to be coalesced mass. Your eyes and your fingers agree, and there you have the physical world. Oh my god, this is such a such a deep thing.
Do you remember on the very first meetup of this book only, I
Mm-hmm.
said this that you know what, we all are particles, and when we come together, we form a shape. and we become some kind of a solid,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And this is even more deeper than that.
Yes. This I'm able to understand, but then expressing it out is such, it is so tough, Karishma.
Hmm.
Yeah, go ahead with the second one, Karishma. Yeah.
The sound world. You seldom perceive sound waves with your eyes, but you can actually be felt. They can actually be felt. These invisible waves are also high, low, and fast and slow. This sound level of energy is where you connect to the highest frequencies of spirit through the practice of japa meditation and the repetition of the sound of God, as I have written about extensively in Getting in the Gap. Have you seen ever people who play very high volume music and they go out of your house and your glasses of your house start ऐसे
Yes.
हिलने शुरू हो जाते हैं?
Yes.
That shows that actually the sound also
Mm-hmm.
reaches us through an energy.
Yes.
And how he has shared that with japa meditation, we can hear the frequencies and the sound of the inner realms is very true. I know Bhamri. Bhamri is one of the yogic, these yoga poses or something
Mm-hmm.
through which you actually can listen to the inner, what do you call it? The sounds of the divine.
Wow. Wow.
So that's what it is saying, that the repetition of the sound of God. The light world. Light moves faster than the material world and faster than sound. Yet there are no actual particles or form a substance called light. What you see as red is what your eyes perceive a certain pulsating frequency to be. And what you perceive as violet is an even faster and higher frequency. When light is brought to darkness, darkness becomes light. The implications for this are startling. Low energy, when faced with higher energy, experiences an automatic conversion. So, when there is no light in the room, we know that that place is dark, right? And if even if you switch on the torch, you will see that the energy that comes out of the light will gloom the entire room. This is so difficult to comprehend even.
Yes. Yeah,
And
I got the meaning actually, but then it's, as you said, it's not that
and
specific.
and if there is a frequency, so even on the screen when we see you are screen sharing is green, that will be reflecting at some other frequency, and then stops share will be is red. That light, that part portion has a different frequency of light that is coming to us, or we are perceiving that frequency from our eyes. Oh my god. Hmm.
It is tough to little bit, I mean, explain these things. It needs to be felt actually. So yeah.
Yes. The thought world. Your thoughts are extremely high frequency of pulsating that moves beyond the speed of sound and even light. The frequency of thoughts can be measured, and the impact that they have on your body and your environment can be calculated. Once again, the same rules apply. Higher frequency nullifies lower. Faster frequency energies convert slower. A colleague I admire enormously, David Hawkins, MD, has written a book which I have referenced often called Power versus Force. In this remarkable book, Dr. Hawkins elaborates on the lower frequencies of thoughts and their accompanying emotions, and how they can be impacted and converted by exposure to higher and faster frequencies. I urge you to read this book, and I will present some of those findings in the section of raising your energy levels. Every thought you have can be calculated to determine if it's strengthening or weakening your ability to reconnect to the highest and the fastest energy in the universe. Thoughts we know is energy. I know the frequency of thoughts actually get transmitted into things. And I believe that because I believe in the fact that when you are cooking food, you must have very good energy while cooking, or else you should drop cooking that day if you're not into very positive energies. Why? Because when you cook while having good thoughts or while doing the japa, the energy goes into the food and it is transferred from the food to each family member or every person who is eating that food. And with the result, they also start feeling the same. That is why BK Shivani mostly says and suggests never go out to eat. Because when they cook food, the restaurants and these places, when they cook food, they have an intention in their heart, they have an intent. आज बहुत सारे लोग आने चाहिए, बहुत सारा बिजनेस क्रिएट होना चाहिए हमारे खाने बनने से. With the result, what happens is the people who take the food, they also get very money minded. And then next year, instead of getting one with the Almighty, they would start going towards, अरे पैसा 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 कैसे कमाना है, कहाँ से निकालूं, क्या करूं, this and that, these kind of thoughts. If you keep on eating from outside day after day, day after day, day after day, without even cleansing yourself, bathing your soul. So just thoughts.
What I felt was, Karishma, what I thought was, if you have a highest level of energy, obviously the weaker energies will move away from us. So, whenever our subconscious is, active, it's not that we want higher purpose, but then we need to feed our brain with higher purposes and with a stronger affirmations. So obviously the weaker energies would troop away automatically.
Yes, that is what it was selling in the earlier pages as well. Now, how no match and match.
Yes.
That is also there.
Yes, yes.
Number 5 is the spirit world. Here is the ultimate in energy. These frequencies are so supersonically rapid that the presence of disorder, disharmony, and even disease is impossible. These measurable energies consist of the 7 phases of intention written about throughout the pages of this book. They are the energies of creation. When you reproduce them in yourself, you reproduce the same creative quality of life that called you into existence. They are the qualities of creativity, kindness, love, beauty, expansion, peaceful abundance, and receptivity. These are the highest energies of the universal spirit itself. You came into existence from this energy and you can match up with it energetically as you remove the low energy pulsations from your thoughts and feelings. Consider these words of the Nobel Prize winning physicist Max Planck as he accepts his award for his study of the atom. As a man who has devoted his whole life to the most clear-headed science, to the study of matter, I can tell you as the result of my research about atoms this much, there is no matter as such. All matter originates and exists only by virtue of a force which brings the particles to an atom, to vibration, and hold this most minute solar system of the atom together. You must assume behind this force the existence of conscious and intelligent mind. This mind is the matrix of all matter. It is to this mind that I urge you to match up. Oh my God. All right. Do you want to share anything on this?
Nothing much, Karishma.
Shall we go ahead or shall we wrap up?
Time to check the time. 10:50. Raising your energy. I think tomorrow we can start this, Karishma.
Let's read about raising our energy levels tomorrow. And
Yeah.
I think we need to actually sit a bit with this context that we have read today so that
Yes.
it actually starts making sense for us to actually implement it in our lives. Right?
Exactly. Yes.
All right. Thank you so much, Pranavi, for joining in and
Yeah, Karishma.
being here as a companion in reading and trying to, understand these through these lines.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Karishma, because it's only due to you I'm able to at least open this book and work on these thoughts.
Thank you. Thank you. God bless you. Have a good night's sleep and see you
Good night,
tomorrow.
darling. Yeah. See you tomorrow. Yeah.
Good night.
Yeah. Good night.